What's up, everybody? Welcome into another NBA DFS DraftKings Picks video, this time for November 2nd. I'm your host, Ben Hostler. I'm making my debut on this video this season. I haven't had any time to do any of the night before videos. So shout out to Bales, Sriracha, Spike, anyone that's been on these videos already this season. They've been crushing it. So shout out to them. Super hard to make early look videos in NBA with all of the injury news. So I'm gonna probably go about this video a little bit different. I'm gonna run through the injuries, and then highlight some plays that I like at each position. As of now, I'm doing this pretty early. It's about 7 a.m. So obviously things can change by the time we get to lock. So keep that in mind. You want to stay tuned to our content throughout the day at dfscomer.com. We have free content. Most of my content is now behind a paywall, so you do have to have a subscription if you want to view who I'm playing every day, final thoughts, all that. You can get in the Discord for free, or you can get access to the premium channels. But yeah, let's get into it. If you guys want to go ahead, hit the like button real quick for me before I dive in. It does help us out. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications, and let's get into it. So it doesn't look like there's a ton of high over-unders today. Only 5 games. We have the Bucks and the Pistons, the Heat and the Mavericks, Kings and the Jazz, New Orleans and Phoenix, and the close it out 10:30 Houston and the Lakers. So let's go over the injuries. First and foremost, at the top, we have LeBron James, questionable. If he were to miss, obviously, that would give a bump up to the usual suspects in Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, some of the supplementary pieces as well. But really, we've seen Russell Westbrook um, get priced up, but like relative to what he was. But I mean, he's only 9,900 on DraftKings today. Obviously, that would be obvious good play as well as Anthony Davis if LeBron were to miss. DeAndre Ayton is questionable, so I think JaVale would slide in and start for him. If he were out, he would be a pretty good value play on all sites. Bam Adebayo is questionable. We've seen him. I think that was Saturday night he missed. I think they came out and said he was expecting to play, and then they went ahead and ruled him out. So Dwayne Dedmon slid into the starting lineup. We saw some Morris get hot off the bench as well. And then like big one I think is Brandon Ingram and Devontae Graham are both questionable. Ingram, we saw him miss. I think that was Saturday as well, but that would give a huge bump to Jonas Valanciunas, who has already been just balling out this season. Kind of this new role that the Pelicans have handed him. He's up to 8,500 on DraftKings, but I don't know. I mean, I think if Ingram were to miss, that would still be I would still be fine paying that, and then like Graham being out, I mean, that's going to positively affect Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Kyra Lewis is going to get some more minutes, but like Ingram being out, like not only does it bump up Valanciunas, but we're probably going to see Josh Hart and Herb Jones start again. I played Herb Jones on Saturday, whatever day that was that Ingram missed. He paid off on his value, so that's going to be a big situation to monitor throughout the day. And then we have Daniel Tice is questionable. If he were to miss, I think Sengun would probably start, but I think he would be a good value play. And then we have Drew and Brook Lopez out again for the Bucks. So I think that about does it for the major injuries. So we can kind of dive in here. We can go through just what I view as the top plays at each position here. As of 7 a.m. this morning, obviously, like I said, a lot can change. But if we start off at point guard, I mean, we have some good spend ups here. Luka is up to 11,100. Porzingis is questionable too. I did not mention that one with the injuries, but we do need to monitor monitor that one. I don't know if they gave any update on him. He's missed 3 games. I don't know. It kind of looks like he's probably not going to play. So just keep that in mind. But Luka, highest price option. He's going to be the highest projection, especially should Porzingis be out. We'll see if we have the value to comfortably fit him in. Kind of neutral on the matchup against Miami. They've been really good defensively. I was really high on this Heat team coming into the season. They've played well early on, but he is going to be the top projection at point guard. Russ, like I said, 9,900. If LeBron were to miss, that would be a smash play. Houston is terrible defensively. I don't see the spread on that game. Lakers by 10.5. So yeah, I mean, I guess you would worry a little bit about blowout, but when I play personally, when I build, you guys know by now, anyone that watches my NFL videos or MLB, I mainly play cash games and head to heads, so I don't tend to worry about blowouts in that format. In tournaments, I do think that's something you have to keep in mind and something that you can kind of use for game theory purposes. But I try to build the best lineup every day, and I don't tend to worry about blowouts. So I think if LeBron was out, Russ would be a good play. You have Mitchell is going to project really well as well at 8,800. And then I think probably Chris Paul at 76. Like that's probably the top 4 overall options, barring any injury news. In terms of value, Kade Cunningham, they left at 3,600. I believe he is back and he's going to play tonight. So that's going to be just like a lock. I mean, he didn't really deliver in that first game. He only played 18 minutes, scored 15 fantasy points. You would assume that he might get a few extra minutes tonight, but it just doesn't matter. I feel like the minutes because of the price. Like he can easily deliver that. Like he just didn't have a great game, right? Like he didn't shoot well. He only made 1 field goal and still got you to 15 DraftKings points despite scoring 1 basket. And he was really aggressive on the boards. So I think Kade Cunningham 3,600 for cash games at least. That's a lock. And I think you probably will get like 20 minutes at least out of him tonight. So that's a good value play. In the mid tier, I tend to build stars and scrubsy in NBA, especially yesterday. Like we got that late Tobias news, so it's just easy to get up to the stud. So I generally am not super on the mid tier, but I mean you could sell me on Jalen Green if you're playing some Lakers guys at 5,800. I'm always interested in him, and then George Hill is 3,800, likely to start. Again with Drew out, he's been starting, so I think that's fine for value. But like I prefer Cade for 3,600 than George Hill at 38. Now I do think you could stack those guys together maybe in cash if you want to, but I think Cade is the clear value play at point guard. We can move over to shooting guard. Cade is eligible at shooting guard as well. So if you want to save point guard, you want to get up to Russ or Mitchell or Luka, you can use Cade at shooting guard. But he's just clearly the top value here. You also have Grayson Allen at 4,800. He's going to continue to start for the Bucks. 4,800 is getting up there, but I do think he's in play. Not sure if that will fit my exact build, but I don't mind Grayson Allen on this current Bucks team, especially with Drew out. Tyler Hero at 6,900, I think, is really interesting against Dallas. He looked really, really good in the preseason, and that's kind of carried over to the regular season, right? Like if you look at just the game log, he came out on opening night, he dropped 43, 44, 31, low point of 26 against Brooklyn, and then back up to 42 and 37 in his last 2 games. So that price is getting up there, but I think it's warranted, especially with how he's been playing. So I think he is a super strong play for tournaments on DraftKings. I don't think that pricing range is going to get owned. So I definitely think you can look at Tyler Hero, especially if some of these New Orleans guys are out because you have Nickeil Alexander-Walker at 6,700. People might want to look at him. So I think Hero could end up being a pretty good pivot off of him. Yeah, Brunson's up to 5,500. I'm probably going to avoid that against Miami. So I think overall, like the top plays here are like locking in. If you want to lock in Kade for some value, you have Mitchell against Sacramento. You have Devin Booker against New Orleans. And then you have Hero and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Like I think that's probably the top overall plays at this position. In terms of getting weird, I guess like if you want to get weird, it's just Kyra Lewis Jr. He's down at 3,100, but that's contingent on what we get as far as New Orleans news. Yeah, I don't see anything else that's really jumping off the page unless you want to use Connaughton, obviously fitting with the Bucks situation. Heading over to small forward, Luka has point guard, shooting guard on DraftKings, so he's going to be the top projection at this position. You have LeBron right there at 10-2, who's going to project well against Houston, and then you have Jimmy Butler at 9,100. So Butler, I would definitely be interested in if Bam is out. I think 9,100's more GPP if Bam is in, but if he's out, you could sell me. You could sell me on Jimmy Butler at 9,100 against Dallas for sure. Ingram, I don't know if he's going to play or not. I don't have a take there. I think if he's in play at 8,200. If he's out, I'm comfortable going back to some of the value, but we'll have to wait and see on that news. Harrison Barnes has been really good for the Kings this season, but that's just always going to be a tournament play for me. It's just a weird price range, especially with how he's been playing. Like I feel like you're paying ceiling price tag for Harrison Barnes, so I'm just not probably going to lean there in cash. I'm trying to look. Herbert Jones is 3,500 again, so I think if Ingram were out, I would definitely be interested in going back to him. You have Josh Hart at 4,900. Got up to 29 in that last game, in which Ingram missed. So I think the New Orleans guys for mid tier and value, if Ingram were out, are probably the top overall plays. And then you have the guys up top, Butler in particular. If Bam is out, would be interesting to me. Jordan Nora, I think you can go back to in tournaments at 4,500, but I think I would prefer dropping down. I would prefer dropping down to Herb Jones or jumping up a few hundred for Josh Hart. If Ingram's out, then I would play Jordan Nora. But I don't see 5-game slate. I think the options are pretty thin here at small forward, and I'll probably be looking to spend up or I'll be dropping down to that value depending on how the injuries break. Power forward, obviously, Giannis is going to be the top projection on the entire slate with Drew out, with Brook Lopez out. Even though Portis is back, like it's still going to allow Giannis to get some of those center minutes, which is where he can really smash fantasy-wise. So he's going to be the top projection. That's going to be who I think you want to force in. Bucks aren't huge favorites, so I don't think you need to worry about a blowout, but I kind of addressed how I don't really worry about that in cash games anyways. So I think Giannis is like a must play on this slate for me. In cash, I'll be trying to force him in. And then on the opposite side of him, I think some of the Detroit guys are interesting. Jeremy Grant, Sadiq Bey in that mid tier. I think you can consider those guys opposite Giannis for some correlation. Anthony Davis at 9,700 if LeBron were to miss. Currently, I think LeBron's going to play, but things can definitely change. So if he were to miss, I would definitely be interested in AD. At 9,700, Thanasis, Giannis's brother, 3,100. not going to project hugely, but we saw him start in, I think it was the last game, in which we saw him start. He played huge minutes, 32, 18 minutes the game before that. So we would just have to wait and see. If he's starting, I would be interested in him at 3,100, but that's going to be contingent on lineup news. Portis is back. Like, obviously Portis was out, came back for a game and then missed. I think like the leash is going to keep getting longer on him. Like, I am interested in him at 4,400. He's played 15 and 19 minutes, so I think you can crack 20 minutes today. And I think he can easily beat 4,400 if he's playing 20 minutes. I would like him to start, but Portis, I mean, I don't know. I think if we don't get any more value opening up, I actually think Bobby Portis might be my favorite now that I'm looking at it. 4,400 is a good price. You would expect the minutes to jump over 20, and I think you can comfortably play him with Giannis. No issues at all, especially in cash. For GPP darts, Bojan Bogdanovic I think is fine in tournaments. And I kind of mentioned the Detroit guys. I think those probably be the top plays. Maybe for FanDuel, you could give a look at Jay Crowder. He's always cheap over there. I feel like I consider him just based off his price there more times than not. Not a smash play by any means, but allows you to get up to like an extra stud on FanDuel normally. And then we can finish up at center. I mean, this is a pretty just, I don't know, I'm not in love with this slate looking at it. It's only 5 games, and some of these games are just rough. Like Milwaukee, Detroit's just not a good game. Any team going against Miami is just not a great game. And then you have like Phoenix, New Orleans, which is probably my favorite game right now, and it's like it's a 12-point spread, which is the largest on the slate. Like Lakers Houston's just not a great game because of how bad Houston is. So this is a pretty like tough slate overall, I think, for being just 5 games. Just no games that I'm in love with early this morning. But if we finish up at center here, if Bam is in, I love him at 7,500 against Dallas. If he plays, I think he's a lock for me on this slate. I think that price is really good. I think the matchup is really good. I think that's just a fantastic play if he's in. So Bam and Giannis are probably the guys, barring that Bam is in, that I want to build my lineup around today. Outside of that, like I said at the top, if Ayton's out, JaVale's going to be a really good value play. If Ingram's out, Joe Val would enter the must-play territory for me, I think, if Ingram misses. Even priced at 8,500, I would be willing to eat that salary, but I don't know, man. Bam is 1,000 less. I think Bam's a super strong play if he's ruled in. Outside of those guys, Bobby Portis has center as well as Giannis, so you can kind of interchange those guys. Play one at power forward, play one at center. Christian Wood, I think, is a really good tournament play. He's 8,300. I don't see anyone really getting to Christian Wood on this slate, so I would definitely be interested in that route if you're playing more than one lineup. Sengun is center on DK. That would be a really good value play if, depending on how the injury news breaks, if Daniel Tice is ruled out, he would definitely probably get up to the mid-20s in minutes. I think he's around the same price as Portis, so I think you could just pair those guys together on DraftKings for value. And then I guess Rashawn Holmes at 63 is probably like the other guy. Gobert is interesting at 81. So how I would handle Gobert is Sacramento is one of the worst rebounding teams, if not the worst rebounding team in the NBA. So I do think it's a good spot for Gobert, but Gobert's kind of the same guy that we've always known, right? Like the ceiling just isn't huge. He can crack 50 once in a while, but generally he's going to live in that upper 30, mid 40 range, which you don't love at 8,100, but it's not going to kill you. But I think the matchup is really good for him. So if Bam like gets ruled out and we're not going to be playing him at 75, that would bump my interest in Gobert. But for right now, I think Bam's probably going to play. I think he got in a full practice on Monday, so I'm assuming he should be good to go. And I think he's just going to be my top overall center option at 7,500. So if you guys are watching this video, I know Bales normally plays the game of guess what a player's fantasy points is going to be. So if you guys want to go ahead, comment below, tell me how many DraftKings points you think Kade Cunningham is going to score tonight. We'll see if anyone can get that spot on. Reminder, like this video, subscribe to the channel. This is my first early NBA video, so it's going to take me a minute to get in the groove. I've been hitting NFL streets really hard recently, so it's going to take me a second to get in the NBA video groove, but I appreciate all of you guys watching it. And I don't know who will be doing tomorrow's video. I don't know if it'll be me or Bales, but we will be back on Wednesday for another NBA DFS DraftKings Picks video. Good luck on Tuesday night, guys.